You have learned a lot of math in school, but you might not have learned it in a way to answer real-world questions like, how can you use calculus to develop a strategy in Mario Kart to beat other novices? Like how I used calculus to develop a strategy to beat my kids. What's the ideal amount of water when bottle flipping so the bottle's the most stable when it lands? Why are elite male hurdlers so much closer to the same height than elite male sprinters? And why is there only a marginal difference for elite female hurdlers and sprinters? Or maybe there's something that's just interesting to you. Like, what angle to fold the paper condiment cup to maximize the amount of sauce it holds. You probably wonder about a lot of things, like me, but may not recognize that the math your teachers or professors were teaching you, or the statistics or probability, could be used to find the answers. Multiple times a week, sometimes multiple times a day, I start to wonder about something I'm doing, or watching, or reading, and find where math or stats or probability could help me understand what is going on and make better decisions. And the more math I learn, the more I use it. But it takes using math in a different way than you likely learned in school. Hello, welcome to the Math the World YouTube channel. We're a project that shows how math can be used to answer questions and give insights into the world around us. And when we say math, we mean stats and probability as well. With so many new viewers and subscribers, we wanted to take this opportunity to reintroduce ourselves and show you what our channel is all about. Our main focus is on math from middle school or junior high through lower level college courses. This is often the math that students feel they will never use, or only use if they'll be a scientist or engineer. However, this math, and stats and probability, is very powerful for dealing with many everyday situations that you have likely experienced or thought about. Why did we make this channel? 2 words: recognize and mathematize. Not enough people, 1, recognize when a real-world situation or question is mathematical in nature, or 2, know how to mathematize the situation so they can apply their mathematical knowledge from school. Most of our videos take a question or a situation and show how to make sense of it using the skills required for real-world problem solving. We actually do the math. We don't just share answers, but actually show the process of real-world mathematical problem solving, which is sometimes referred to as mathematical modeling. We make assumptions, look up values, take measurements, draw diagrams, formulate functions, analyze expressions, maybe even use calculus tools of derivation and integration, or statistical tools of data analysis. We get into the nitty-gritty, and some things will look familiar from school math, but it will also feel different, because we start at a different spot and have different purposes on how we use math. We've already made videos about some of the previous situations we mentioned. Here are some others we have made videos about or plan to. How do you 3D print loaded dice so they're the most loaded to one side, getting one number to come up with the highest probability? Which angle should you run to have the best chance of evading an oncoming vehicle? And how does this connect to defensive backs trying to chase down ball carriers? Why do political candidates campaign towards the extremes in primary elections but tend to become more moderate during the general election? I was tossing a ball to my 5-year-old and he was having trouble catching it. I wondered to myself, what angle should I toss the ball so it hits his hands with the least velocity, making it easier for him to catch? What kind of couples are compatible and what kind of couples are likely to divorce? Why do birds of prey attack in a spiral and not in a straight line? How fast does my car burn through gas when it's idling? How fast should my kids push their scooters to get the most distance per push? I made a potato gun and was interested to see how the power of my potato gun compared to other potato guns I had read about online. Many of the posts talked about how fast their potatoes went in feet per second. How can I figure out the speed of my gun without a radar gun so I can see how good my gun is? I heard that throwing a penny off the Empire State Building could kill someone. Is that true? What objects, if dropped from such heights, would kill someone and which wouldn't? Why was my new design for a longer snorkel such a failure? What might a fair wealth distribution look like, and why is it so heavily skewed? Although not necessarily as heavily as the current US wealth inequality. You may be thinking that those don't look like the kind of math problems you learned or are learning in school. Probably not. There are some big differences between school mathematics and real-world mathematics, which again we refer to as mathematical modeling. To start off with, the goals are different. Your teachers are charged to teach you math concepts and techniques, so they keep other things simple so they can mainly focus on those new concepts and techniques. Sadly, that simplification to make it easier to learn also makes it harder to apply, because real-world problems rarely use just one concept or technique. while the textbook context problems used to apply concepts of the lesson are often just contrived word problems. Ironically, the more advanced you get in math, when the ideas are actually becoming more and more powerful, contextualized textbook problems have to become more and more contrived because the real-world questions and situations where they're used are more complex. And since they are so complex, the deformation of the textbook problem has to be greater and ends up doing more to convince students that math is not useful. So students walk away from math class falsely thinking the opposite, that the further they go in math, the less applicable it is. I actually see more real-world problems where the key to understanding the problems are from calculus or linear algebra than from middle school mathematics. But in the real world, you don't have the constraints the teachers use to help support your learning. That makes modeling more interesting, but can also make it more difficult. To handle the difficulty, we need different skills and tools. On the screen, we've listed some of the differences between typical school math and this process of mathematical modeling. One difference that is not on the screen is that understanding math ideas for school is different from understanding math ideas for real-world problem solving. For example, the definition of a function that you may have learned in school is important for mathematicians in their proofs, but it's not the main idea of function when actually using them in real-world problems. The idea of a function when real-world problem solving is about finding relationships between two real-world quantities, one where we can find the value of one quantity if we know the value of another quantity, not the textbook definition that seems so convoluted to students. Of course, the ideas are connected, but in modeling, one of these ways of thinking about functions is much more applicable than the other. In our videos, we try to help you think about ideas you may have learned in school, but in ways that make them powerful for real-world problem solving. We have several videos already out that specifically address steps you can take to help create mathematical models and that dive way more in depth into the question of when will I ever use this. The videos can help teachers learn how to answer this question as well. Please take a look at our channel and our videos. We hope you will subscribe. When you find a video you like, please share it. To keep this project going, we need to increase our reach and viewership. Also, if you have a real-world question and you think that mathematics might help to answer it, send us an email at maththeworld@mathed.byu.edu or find us on our Twitter or Instagram handles. They'll be on the screen. You can also post it as a comment below. We have already made a few videos off of viewer suggestions. Maybe we'll make a video from your suggestion as well. Thank you so much for all your support.